nuclear deal. Wow. Let me introduce Bob Telchin.
I don't know whether it's working or not. I'm so sorry, excuse me.
It is.
It is? Okay.
I'm worried about something. It's the Iran nuclear deal, and will this deal, which is in place now, keep Iran away from getting a nuclear weapon? How did this deal get formulated? Over the past 3 years, a team of the most powerful countries in world history got together. Russia, China, UK, France, Germany, and the United States. And with the governing board of the European Union thrown in as well, to come up with a plan that was released last July, and it was approved and implemented this past October. What a stellar combination of economic and military force that these countries could have applied against Iran if they wanted to, but they didn't. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, welcome guest, and anyone of the Irish persuasion today. There are two parts of the agreement that I'd like to talk about today that cover inspections and enforcement. This is the biggest stick a Manhattan apartment dweller could get his hands on. And both of these measures, inspection and enforcement, are sadly deficient. Now, why am I concerned about all this? Because if Iran does get a bomb, there's going to be a horrible sequence of things happening. There'll be an arms race in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia will next want to get a bomb to protect themselves against Iran. And then Egypt will follow suit. Even Turkey will get involved. They're probably not going to build one themselves, but North Korea and even Pakistan could be ready suppliers of nuclear weapons to these countries to meet a very high demand. I'm also concerned because Iran has already declared that Israel should be destroyed. So if they had a bomb, look how easily they could do it, which could then lead Israel to preemptively prevent that, starting a major regional war in itself. And lastly, if all of these unstable entities wind up with nuclear weapons, that's going to affect us very directly. Loose bombs can find their way to our shores, you better believe. So I really need your help, and your families need your help, and your friends need your help. So, with the authority vested in me by Toastmasters International, I want to deputize each and every one of you to help us get out of this mess. So please listen up as to the things that you're going to have to do when you leave here. But first, in the Toastmaster tradition, I want to say something good about the deal. But they have shut down 10,000 centrifuges out of leaving 5,000 still spinning. They shut them down. They didn't destroy them. Okay? They did ship 11 tons of low-grade uranium ore out of Iran towards Russia. And they did cripple one of their plutonium reactors. So those are good things. Iran did something good as part of this deal. Okay, but what about the inspection issue? Are we going to be able to inspect sites to be sure that they're not cheating? Unfortunately, the answer is no. There are 8 sites that are declared as nuclear sites, which inspectors will have access to, but Iran is a big country. It's twice the size of Texas. And they've already declared that their military facilities are off limits, so we can't look at those. And if the inspectors hear about, for some other reason, think that there's something going on in some other place, can they just go and look? No. Paragraph 78 of the agreement says that there's a process, a formal process that has to be followed to go inspect something new, and guess what? It's going to take at least 24 days to get approval to do that. That gives them a long time to do whatever they want, okay? So, the next issue is, what teeth are there in the agreement? Okay? What can we do if they violate the agreement? Turns out, not very much. The big tool was going to be the snapback privilege, to reimpose any sanctions that had been released and make Iran suffer because of that. Okay? The problem is that the agreement says Iran has 65 days for a snapback to be put into effect. That gives them plenty of time to do whatever they want to do. A further problem is that any contracts that have been gone into in recent months will be exempt. There's a gold rush going on in Iran right now. China and Russia and the UK and the rest of Europe are falling over themselves to sell airplanes and petroleum equipment and weapon systems and so on. All of those will be off limits to any snapback provisions. Okay? A further problem is that you'd think that releasing the sanctions would be gradual to see how well that they perform. It didn't happen that way. It was written so that all the sanctions become lifted essentially immediately, which is where we are now, as of back in December. So there's no leverage there either. Okay? So why should we be concerned? Because Iran is really a bad actor in the world. In fact, just last week they fired 2 ballistic missiles in violation of not only this arms agreement, but a prior UN prohibition on them firing ballistic missiles. Okay? Even worse, they support terrorist organizations around the world. Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and a range of other countries all over the world, and certainly Assad in Syria. Okay? So, what I want to ask you is, what do you do? I want you to contact your congressman, your senator, tell them that existing sanctions must be upheld, that other players like have to be involved, like Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and plan for what comes next in terms of limiting their rollout of nuclear reactors and plutonium things. So please go forth and do these things. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Bart, for the presentation. We have 1 minute to fill out the ballot form, please.